Howdy everyone. So today, if you'll notice, I'm surrounded by succulents, a little bit different than what I normally work on. But these are all sort of bonsai'd, and I believe you could bonsai succulents because you're totally able to create branch structure and do all the same things as you can with other types of plants, with many types of succulents. So I just wanted to kind of give you a tour of some of the plants that I have, some of the succulents, and yeah, kind of tell you about each one and see if you like them, and if you do, give them a try for yourself. Join me. So this first plant I want to show you is commonly called a golem jade. I've also seen it called hobbit jade, or hobbit plant, which is funny because Gollum was a hobbit and then the ring turned him into Gollum. But anyway, and I've also seen it called a trumpet jade or trumpet succulent. It's got a lot of common names, but anyway, this one I can't remember if I got them at the same time, but this one I think was in my very first video. And it's got really nice structure. It definitely needs to be repotted. It's been in the same pot for a couple of years now. But I haven't really done much with it. It's just through the falling off of branches developed some really nice curvature and redirection in all the branches, which I'm really liking. And then this big one is awesome. Haven't really done much with it either. Also could probably use a repotting. But yeah, just really cool tree structure and really liking this guy. So these guys both look really good for really no effort from me. Super easy if you want to get something that looks like a nice tree without much work. So this guy is really cool. This is commonly called an elephant bush, another type of very common succulent. Sometimes they call it like mini jade, but I don't think it's actually truly a jade plant, but it is sometimes called that. But I've seen most commonly elephant bush. But I can't remember the scientific name. I'm not as big on succulents. But cool story about this guy. I was at a garage sale, and I think I talked about this before, maybe in another video. And forgive me if I have, but this is the garage sale one where there was a yard sale that said everything must go. And so I saw a huge bush, and I said, "Hey, you said everything must go. Can I take some cuttings from that?" And the lady's like, "Sure." So I cut some off, put it in this, and I had a big rock right here, keeping it supported. And then several months later, removed the rock, and now it's got a nice strong root system growing in here. And I've been pruning it quite a bit over the last year, and well, every couple months I'll kind of prune it back. So I'm really trying to promote ramification and stuff. So I'm probably going to cut some bigger branches off. Now that it's getting more foliage, I'm going to make some bigger changes, bigger branches, and start really trying to develop this into a nice tree. But I think it's off to a really nice start. I love the angled trunk, and I feel like it's got a lot of potential. So here we have two more elephant bushes. These guys are both from cuttings. That's what's so cool about succulents. You can just keep cutting and planting, and keep developing more and more plants out of an original plant, which is really cool. So these are most likely from the one I just showed you, if not from a different one that I have. I have a couple bigger size ones, but yeah, you can see this one's already developing some branch structure. This guy just a couple weeks ago had one little root that was kind of growing off the side of it. Like, I'm talking like this long, like a couple millimeters, maybe a centimeter at the most, probably smaller than that. I stuck it in here, now it's already getting pretty stable. If you see I'm tapping it, it's not really moving much. This guy doesn't really have much going on yet, but that's the thing, is they look pretty cool even when they're stuck in the ground. But as the roots develop and as I start pruning, they'll start budding off. These guys bud off really well from where you cut it. They'll usually bud off two new sets of leaves for every place that you cut it. So really cool. And this is a cheap little mame pot. This is a pot I made from oven hardened clay that you can buy at like Michael's. So a fun little thing to do if you're bored watching a movie or something, or well, if you're bored watching a movie, then the movie's probably not very good. But if you're not bored, well, if you are bored, you can make one of these. You just shape it by hand. I kind of drew some little ugly patterns in it, and then you just oven harden it, and you can use it as a pot. So here are two more elephant bush beginning bonsais. Alright, so these guys are awesome. I showed one of these, I think maybe this one, or I don't know. I think I showed one of these in kind of a beginning of the year video that I did several months ago. And I can't remember what these are called. It's some kind of succulent. A lot of succulents make really cool kind of flower looking patterns with their leaves. even though they're leaves rather than actual petals. But yeah, these are both really cool. This is a pot, an awesome pot my wife got me for Christmas, I think. That just, I felt like it looked really cool. And let me move this out of the way so you can kind of see it nice and framed. It looked really cool with kind of this arching, sort of hanging over the side look with the plant. And these plants develop a lot of aerial roots, which end up looking really cool as they come down and go into the soil. Yeah, I really like how this looks. And here's basically a smaller version of it. And both of the flowers are sort of, or leaves are facing a different direction. So if I were to do it like this, you can see they're both more facing that way. So that's why I kind of display them almost like two bookends or two book holders. Yeah, so this guy, I put a rock under here like I often do, just to support the trunk as the roots are developing, but he's already pretty strong. If I were to move the rock, he'd probably hold himself up, he or she, I don't know what it is. Yeah, same thing, developing some aerial roots, but I'm not necessarily trying to get the aerial roots to form. I'd love it if it had some bigger base roots on both of them. But yeah, these are both really cool, really easy to do, and give it a really cool look. Again, like all succulents, very easy to take care of, pretty forgiving in terms of not watering, so they've forgiven me many times. Okay, and lastly, for sort of a little bonus round, got this really cool succulent that I got in Morro Bay a couple years ago. I can't remember the name, but I think it was called like leopard succulent or something. But it's more of like a bulb base. So I think it's still a succulent. I mean, these guys are so hardy. I've like ripped some of these bulbs out, stuck them in another pot, and they just start sprouting again. Now I know this is like probably the most un-bonsai-like of the whole group, but what's cool about these is I was at the Huntington Library and Gardens a couple months ago with some friends, and in their bonsai section, which is incredible, they have like sort of a small shohin size section or mame section or just small bonsais, and this was in one of the pots, and it acted as a great accent piece to the rest of the trees. So I'm probably going to do a video where I do that, because oftentimes when bonsais are displayed, they'll have an accent piece, sometimes called kusamono, which is basically just another plant. Maybe sometimes it's grasses or little flowers in a pot that accent the overall tree. So I think this guy would work really well as that. So I'll probably do a video where I'm potting it into a bonsai pot just to give a great kusamono look. So hope you enjoy this, and yeah, I'll do some close-ups of this guy too. Really cool plant, easy to maintain, also very forgiving like all the rest of them, and looks really cool. It's got really cool patterns on the leaves. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this quick little tour of some of my succulent bonsais. Really easy to do, really fun, pretty quick, pretty results, and yeah. Comment any questions down below. If you know of like what species this is, feel free to comment below, and or this one, or just whatever. Or just leave your thoughts, comments in the comment section, and we'll see you next time.